I rap about God, but rather rap about my people. Cause how could I love him and look at how I treat you? He don't want them sacrifices, he don't want your psalms. He don't want your street teachers, he don't want your arms. You think you overstand it, yeah, you underhanded. It's okay to overlook me, just be understanding. You don't gotta forgive me now, you can give it a spin. It's okay if you don't like me, just say it in advance.
Chad. Chad, this is why I mess with Tey's music.
Cobra.
Yeah, I'm sending up prayers every day. I never let a hater take me out the way. I'm sending up prayers every day. I never let a hater take me out the way. What you saying? Got the sword on me now, dog. What you saying? Got the sword on me now, dog. What you saying? Got the sword on me now, dog. What you saying? Got the sword on me now, dog. What's a Christian?
Are y'all
One
hearing
who follow
this?
Christ.
I'm gonna do Through Your Eyes. It's gonna be the last track. It's gonna be the last track of the night. Thank y'all for tuning in so far. I appreciate all y'all that's still in the chat right now. Free Yourself. Hey, I ain't gonna lie to you. That's actually a dope track to finish it off. You know what? Keep that one in mind. Next time I do stream, I'm gonna start off with that song. Next time I do stream, I'm gonna start off with that song because very, very dope track. Shout out to The Rock, man. That's my for real. For real. All right, Tey Yahawadah, Through My Eyes, man. I cannot wait till he drop his tape. I'm not even gonna lie. If y'all seen, I just did a live stream with him. My interview with him last Sunday. So yeah, man. And I was planning on doing this reaction anyway. So why not just go ahead and knock it out now? This is Through Your Eyes, or Through My Eyes, by Tey Yahawadah.
It's crazy how I got this mentality at 24. You know, I can only imagine how I'll be when I'm 30, 40, 50, 60. And I don't boast in my wisdom because I don't proclaim to have the wisdom of the heavens or the wisdom of the earth or any deep, dark parables. I possess the wisdom of the heart. I would be more open to rebuke if you weren't devious and everything was true. I rap about God, but rather rap about my people. Cause how could I love him and look at how I treat you? He don't want them sacrifices, he don't want your psalms. He don't want your street teachers, he don't want your arms. You think you overstand it, yeah, you underhanded. It's okay to overlook me, just be understanding. You don't gotta forgive me now, you can give it a spin. It's okay if you don't like me, just say it in advance.
Chad, this is why I mess with Tey's music. This is why I mess with Tey's music. Cause he's just so deep with he's just so deep with understanding, bro. That we need. It's not just something that like people talk about it, but it's something that it's really needed. And he said, bro. Hold up. I'm gonna go ahead and break that down.
Wisdom of the heart. I would be more open to rebuke if you weren't devious and everything was true. I rap about God, but rather rap about my people. Cause how could I love him and look at how I treat you? He don't want them sacrifices, he don't want your psalms. He don't want your street teachers, he don't want your arms. You think you overstand it, yeah, you underhanded. It's okay to overlook me, just be understanding.
Look, okay, so he said, that's heavy. He said, I would be more open to rebuke if you weren't devious and and everything was true, which I can see what he means. Because it's like the casting the first stone, or what else you would say? The parable about the or not parable, but when he says that the man had the wood in his eye, you know what I'm saying? But then the other one had the whole thing of wood in there, and it's like I see what he mean. Like it's hard to try to have somebody rebuke you that you know spiritually. I wouldn't say it's incorrect. Well, yeah, in a way, say incorrect. Because you can tell that they're not walking in the spirit of Christ. You know what I'm saying? Because of the way that they treat their brother. And then he followed up with saying, how could you say that you love God, but God said if you love him, then love his people. You know what I'm saying? And he just says specifically, like, how can you say that you love me, but you don't? I mean, how could you say you love God, but you don't love your brother? And oftentimes we don't understand what he means by love. It's not saying that you have a connection or a bond with this person. That means, are you willing to keep the commandments with this person? You can't say that you would do. And the crazy part is we had this conversation on my live, talking about dealing with each other, dealing with our brothers and stuff like that. Bruh, look. The crazy part is when we dealing with our brothers, we oftentimes forget that they are us. Like we are the same. And we deal ill with them. In our mind, we think that, it's just correction. But we have to think about it like this. The same way that we deal with our brothers, put Christ in your shoes and think as if he was Christ, and would Christ deal with him the same way? We have to remember the example that Christ put forth. He dealt with everybody on the earth. So if you're dealing with somebody opposite of what Christ dealt, or how Christ dealt with that kind of spirit, then who are you following? You can't be following the Messiah, because the Messiah gave you the example. You can't be following God because God gave you the example through his prophets and his son on how to deal with your brother. But if Christ came to show us the way, then why don't we follow his example on what he did? You see what I mean? And like we would talk down and kind of like belittle our brothers that don't understand, that don't believe, and things like that. But when we go back to the examples of Christ, what we doing and what he did is not matching up. It's not, you know what I'm saying? It's not on the same level. So Christ obviously wasn't wrong. So we have to start getting the spirit, or our spirit, back to follow what example he gave us to follow. And that's what he means when he says, how can you say that you love the Father, but you won't even treat your brother right? You know what I'm saying? You won't even deal with your brother the way that Christ dealt with you. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times I think that we forget that now that we have this understanding through grace that the Most High gave us. You know what I'm saying? That he actually gave us the opportunity and poured the Spirit on our people to teach this truth in the first place. We forget that we were once those people. One of my favorite scriptures is Titus 3:3, where it says that we were pretty much in those same shoes at one point in time. You know what I'm saying? So don't ever forget that we were once on that other side. You know what I'm saying? And just because you might have took it, like maybe the way that somebody taught it to you isn't the correct way. It might have got you up out of that slump because the Most High put the Spirit on you to understand. But that's not everybody, and that's not, you don't know. You know what I'm saying? You don't understand that the Most High does things for a reason, and part of this I feel like is because part of the reason why I feel like we go off a lot of the times is because he has to have an example of what not to do to show us. And through some of these people are going to be used as example of how to do and how not to do. And we have to really recognize what we're going to be judged based upon. Because at the end of the day, if the things that we're doing and saying is not lining up with the scriptures, not lining up with the laws that he had put in place for us to live and be peaceable with our brothers, you know what I'm saying? If we're not living by that example that Christ gave us, then how could we really live? Like, for real, like, how could we really live? You know what I'm saying? There's no other way. There's no other option on how to do it. And just because, like I said, just because you was taught it a certain way doesn't mean that it's the correct way. It's just the way that you understood it. But that don't mean that it's the right way. That makes sense. So search the scriptures to figure out if you're doing it the right way. Some of us might just be led wrong, but still just was given the understanding through the Most High, because that's what he wanted to do and wanted to accomplish. But that don't mean that it's the right way because you was taught it that way. You know what I mean? But I feel like I'm talking a little bit too much.
Overstand it, yeah, you underhanded. It's okay to overlook me, just be understanding. You don't gotta forgive me now, you can give it a spin. It's okay if you don't like me, just say in advance. You got a fault and ain't address it, you should be ashamed. Cause not every time you pray, it's in disarray. He don't care how much you love him when you hate your brother. It ain't showing on the surface, but you undercover. It's such a lack of love, and I noticed this. You keeping all commandments, but the holiest. You bang on your oppressor, yeah, y'all be alike. You love those who love you, and so do Edomites. You dig up your brother dirt and go expose, huh? Oh, you chose, huh? Oh, you arose, huh? You line upon.
Oh. Hey, look. He said, oh, bro, this heavy, and I love what he did with it. I love what he did with this project. He's saying, look at this through my eyes. You know what I'm saying? Just take a second to consider what I see. You know what I'm saying? Put all the pride aside, put all the what you used to aside, and just consider what he's saying. Consider what he see out of his eyes. That's what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? And he said, you hold on. I like how he said it, bro. I like how he said that.
You keeping all commandments, but the holiest. You bang on your oppressor, yeah, y'all be alike. You love those who love you, and so do Edomites. You dig up your brother dirt and go expose, huh? Oh, you chose, huh? Oh, you arose, huh?
So he said, you bang on your oppressors, though y'all be alike. You love them who love you, and so do Edomites. He said, we working in the wrong spirit, bro. We working in the wrong spirit. That's what he's trying to tell us. You know what I'm saying? Through his eyes, through what he sees. And this is a fact, bro. This is exactly how it is in Israel. Like, if somebody doesn't like us or agree with what we doing, agree with what we quote unquote stand for, and some of us decide to say, look, I'm not gonna love him because he doesn't love me. Again, going back to Christ, we hated him so bad that we put him to death, yet he still said that he forgave us. You see what I mean? If you can't walk in that spirit, bro, then you can't be in a position of leadership or in a position of somebody that's trying to correct someone. Because if you think about it in this way, how can you tell somebody to stop doing something, but when it comes to you, you can't get rid of hatred, can't get rid of backbiting, you can't get rid of what's it called? Like vengeance or seeking vengeance, tit for tat. These are all things that's connected to the spiritual and puts a evil spirit in you when you go with the flow with that. You know what I'm saying? Say somebody's speaking against you, bro. You supposed to love them. At the end of the day, bro, you supposed to love them. You're not supposed to talk against them. And you definitely not supposed to talk about them while they're not there. You see what I mean? And it's all laid out through the scriptures. It's all laid out through the scriptures. So we got to get back to what's real. We got to get back to the laws and commandments. What did the commandments say? What did the law say about that? The law tells us specifically that we should not be out here gossiping and things like that, because that's what a lot of the stuff stems from. You know what I'm saying? We say that we're not supposed to have hate in our heart for our brother. We're not supposed to avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of our people. That's Leviticus the 19:17, I do believe. And if you have a grudge against your brother, meaning that you're speaking against them, any chance that you get, it says that you just love the people that love you. Because if you don't love somebody, it's a reason behind it, and most of the time it's because of grudges. You know what I'm saying? Because of things that happened in the past that y'all did not come to an agreement to settle. You see what I mean? Look, if that's the spirit that you walking in, bro, you gotta repent. Truly, think about what's being said right now. And if you have any sense of that in your spirit, you have to repent. For real, like seriously. Because that's not a spirit of the Most High. That's confusion. You know what I'm saying? That's confusion. And then he said, you love those that love you, and so do Edomites. And then he said something after that also was heavy.
Those who love you, and so do Edomites. You dig up your brother dirt and go expose, huh? Oh, you chose, huh? Oh, you arose, huh?
So that's another thing, bro. And that's another thing that the Edomites do, and really all of the other nations do against us. They try to dig up the dirt of our people and just spread that to the masses so people won't like this individual. Look, check this out, bro. I'm trying to tell y'all, this is how we know that we not walking in the spirit when we doing these things. Because where in the scriptures does it say to go dig up somebody's past, which we know that the other nations used to do against us? Dig up their past and tell about the things that they done and the things that they done wrong. Cause what purpose and what benefit are you serving? The only thing that's going to come out of that is people are going to come against that person. So if you're seeking for people to separate from this person for your own personal gain, or because you feel like, oh, they did you wrong or anything like that, then now you completely out of the spirit. Because the scriptures clearly say that we're not supposed to avenge or bear grudges against our neighbor. And that's what that is. Because in Matthews it talks about that we're supposed to go speak to the brother one-on-one. If it does not get resolved, then we're supposed to separate ourselves from the situation. We're supposed to go to the witnesses and things like that. They're supposed to try to resolve it. But if ultimately things do not get resolved, y'all supposed to separate. It never says you're supposed to go speak against them now. You're supposed to tell everybody to stop following them and all of these things. If they go off, they go off. If spirits follow them in that, then that's the spirit that's supposed to be with that. You see what I mean? You can't get, if you seek in the scriptures and you understand what I'm saying, you can't get led astray if you following the right thing. You hear what I'm saying? You won't be led astray if you following the right thing. If you, bruh, I don't care what nobody's saying. I don't care what nobody's saying. Follow the commandments and the laws and the example that Christ gave and line that up with the people. And it says that we're supposed to try the spirits, but the only way that we can try the spirits is to know what the spirit is, which is the law, which is the commands, and the spirit that's behind those things. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that our people won't make mistakes, because they will. And some of us really need to be held accountable and need to speak up against these things when certain people go off. And the ones that are in high positions of authority that don't want to get humbled down by the scriptures, they need to either be taken out of that position, or people just need to pay attention to their spirit. You see what I mean? Pay attention to their spirit and follow what the law says. Go back to the law. None of us is above the law. None of us is above correction. None of us is above the spirit. If they can't get with that, then separate yourself from it. Until either separate yourself from it, or try to lend a hand as far as correction. Talk to them. Don't go. Look, bro, and this is another thing in Israel. Don't go to the next person and tell about the situation and all of that stuff, because that's going to cause a problem. That's why the Most High said don't walk in that spirit. That's gossiping. You know what I'm saying? Actually, a lot of the times, even bearing false witness, because you don't know what the brother is dealing with. You don't know what the brother is going through. So a lot of times it can also fall into bearing false witness, because we too afraid to connect, bro. We too afraid to have conversations that's uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? When we need to be having those conversations to heal each other. It says, the scripture says, iron sharpen iron. But if you never pull your iron out, how you gonna help? How you gonna help the situation? Or if you pulling out the iron to cut instead of sharpen, then how you gonna help the situation? You know what I'm saying? Get back to the song.
You line upon line, you breaking codes, huh? Oh, you cold, huh? Head first into his wisdom, oh, you dove, huh? We make a fool out our God. We don't look as great as prize, but I see we deal in pride. It's all a show, huh? Be you followers of me, for I'm a true disciple of Christ. I would be more open to rebuke if you weren't devious and everything was true. I would be more open to rebuke if you weren't devious and everything was true. But who are you with them rotten fruits? When you standing on a stool, you gotta stoop. But who am I? It's nice to shake your hand and get a glance, but who inside? Where your eyes? If you got 12 homies, one disguised, how could we proclaim to have the truth but still in lies? That's 1 John 1:5. How could you be dead to the flesh but still alive? That would mean you walking in the spirit at all times. To fully understand that, here rewind. Better yet, if you dead to your flesh, then what's left? That would mean you perfect without sin. I'm perfect without wives, boy, I'm perfect without friends. You gon' come out clean through any tribulate you in. When you got the spirit, that's your teacher, better glow. Who taught Moses everything he shown, better grow. John 7:15, how knoweth this man let us, having never learned, one would never know. When the Ethiopian man read the script in Isaiah about my sheep.
Heavy, bro. Heavy. I like this song, bro. He's speaking a lot of real things that's not expressed, especially not through music. You gotta respect it, bro. You really gotta respect what he's saying, because he's speaking about stuff that really you can't explain. Like you can't explain why we don't talk about these things more. I mean, majority of it stems from fearfulness. Let's just be honest. Most of it stems from fearfulness. You know what I'm saying? But these are conversations and these are things that have to be brought up, bro. It just is what it is.
When you standing on the stool, you gotta stoop, but who am I? It's nice to shake your hand and get a glance, but who inside? Where your eyes? If you got 12 homies, one disguised, how could we proclaim to have the truth, but still in lies? That's 1 John 1:5.
How could we proclaim to have the truth, but still in lies, bro? Look. You see them? Look. And that's the crazy part, because even though a lot of our people, especially the unrepentant, don't understand because they don't have the knowledge of the law, right? But the Spirit understands, and that's a lot of it is the reason why a lot of our people are not converting back to the law and our nationality, because their spirit recognizes that the spirit that we have is not of the Father. The spirit that we have is not of Christ. Let me say it again. Their spirit, because they have a spirit against the Father, but the spirit that's of the Father is always with us. It never goes away. Never truly goes away. So they have the spirit to understand. That's how we were able to understand. The spirit was with us when we learned who we were. The Spirit was with us when we were first taught the laws for it to click with us. You see what I mean? The Spirit was with us when we first opened up that book, and all of those words that we once seen before now started to make sense. The Spirit was with us. You see what I mean? So the Spirit never leaves us. The Spirit is always going to be with us. But when our spirit doesn't connect with the right spirit, then it's not going to follow it. You see what I mean? And we are in a time of spiritual maturity where we have to start maturing through the scriptures and through the laws. We have to, because everything that we've learned from the moment that we heard about the truth to now, this present day, all of it isn't right, bro. All of it isn't 100% correct. That's why we have to search it. That's why we have to search to find out what's the true way. What did Christ do? What did the law say to do? You know what I mean? Because the scripture says that Christ always did what pleased the Father. So if he did that, if he did what he did, then if you walk in his way, then you good. If you go outside of that, then it's a possibility that you in error. And that's what we got to get away from. We got to get away from error. We've been living in error all of our life. But the only way to learn error is to search error and figure out what is error, figure out what is sin, what goes against the Father, all of that. You see what I mean? So we just have to mature. We have to mature in this truth. We have to become greater in this truth. You see what I'm saying?
How could you be dead to the flesh but still alive? That would mean you walking in the spirit at all times. To fully understand that, here rewind. Better yet, if you dead to your flesh, then what's left? That would mean you perfect without sin. I'm perfect without wives, boy, I'm perfect without friends. You gon' come out clean through any tribulate you in. When you got the spirit, that's your teacher, better glow. Who taught Moses everything he shown, better grow. John 7:15, how knoweth this man let us, having never learned, one would never know. When the Ethiopian man read the script in Isaiah about Mashiach, Philip asked, do you understand what you're reading? And the eunuch said, how could I know except a man guide me? As they read Isaiah, the eunuch said, is this prophet speaking of himself or another man? And Philip started from the same scripture and showed him how it was Christ that was being read about. As they drew near to a river, the eunuch said, what's stopping me from being baptized then? Philip said, only if you believe wholeheartedly you may be baptized. And when the eunuch arose out of the water, the Spirit of the Lord removed Philip. She said, I got it from here, shorty, looking up.
That's heavy. That's heavy. Great scripture to tie it all in, what he was trying to say in the message. Sometimes you just have to be taught. Hebrews, I believe it's Hebrews 13 said it best, bro. Sometimes you just have to be taught everything over again. Sometimes you just have to humble down and be retaught because, like I said earlier, everything that we were taught does not mean that it's 100% correct. Sometimes you have to humble down, be willing to relearn the truth. See what I mean? Be willing to relearn the truth because it might be. And that's a great question. That's a great question. Are we pleasing the Most High for what we're doing? And look, this is the question that we don't ask. We don't ask. Look, we so concerned about pleasing man. We so concerned about pleasing the brother next to us. You know what I'm saying? But how many times do we really consider if we're pleasing the Father with the way we living in our walk? And I was talking to Tey in the interview. He had said something very heavy in my opinion. He said, going out to street teach is not doing the work. And I agree. I 100% agree. And let me tell you why I agree, because a lot of people are gonna be like, what do you mean by that? That is definitely doing the work. Look, the works isn't going out to teach the people because there are always going to be somebody to teach the people. And just because you're a teacher does not mean that you have the works of the Father in you. Because think about what Christ said to the scribes and Pharisees, or about the scribes and Pharisees. Follow what they teach, but not after their works. So if they were out here teaching this truth, but did not have the works, which would, by our definition of works, would be teaching, then why would he tell us not to follow after them, after their works? Because the works is not teaching. The works is the keeping of the law with your brother. The works is keeping the commandments of the Father. Send it to me or type it in the chat. I'm gonna do it my next stream. I'm gonna do another stream. I'm gonna do another stream soon. This next time I'm gonna let everybody know that I'm gonna actually be streaming. Because this was literally just random, like. But the question was, are we pleasing the Father with what we're doing? You know what I'm saying? Are we pleasing the Most High with what we're doing? And I'm gonna have to say it's a no, because we not considering the law. We're not considering the works as far as really trying to love our brother. We put a lot of that stuff on the back burner, like we really do as a nation. I'm not saying as individuals, which it is really a lot of times as individuals, but because individuals believe in it so strongly and wholeheartedly, it becomes a nation problem. That's why the Most High said that one person could ruin a lot of it. You see what I'm saying? One person could ruin a lot of it. But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So look, I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. Like I said, I appreciate everybody that tuned in. Next time I'm gonna give y'all the heads up. I'm gonna post it on Instagram. I'm gonna post it up on Facebook, and hopefully we'll be able to go live on Facebook as well. The comments gonna be pouring in from both Facebook and YouTube, Lord's will. But yeah, like I really do appreciate everybody for tuning in, and we're gonna definitely push this gospel to the next level. This truth music to the next level. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what it's about. That's what it's about, trying to really wake up our people in any aspect, in any way. This is a spiritual awakening, and this is literally what it's going to be. There's no way around it. You know what I'm saying? So I'll praise this again. Like I said, thank y'all one more time, and peace. Shalom. Y'all have a great night. Love all y'all, man, for real.
Keep going, keep praying, study hard, free yourself, yeah, you've been praying for me, I can tell, yeah, I felt a boost of virtue out of nowhere, keep going, keep praying, study hard, free yourself, yeah, you've been praying for me, I can tell, yeah, I can tell, look, the greatest story ever told.